Now, let's go ahead and cut to the chase. I don't want to waste any more time. We're not going to talk much about this Apple event because the iPhone 15 was trash. The iPhone 15 was trash from an innovation perspective. Nothing has changed about this phone over the last three phones. However, it does not mean that these phones will not sell, and it does not mean that the stock price will not move higher. I do believe the stock price will move higher, and I do believe that these iPhones will sell. So let's go ahead and get into the reasons why I believe Apple stock price will continue to move higher and why I believe these iPhones will sell.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Trade for Yourself podcast, where my mission here is very simple. I just want to help you learn how to trade for yourself. So make sure you please subscribe. Make sure you listen to this episode from start to finish. I promise you will not regret it. Please note, anything discussed in this episode is not financial advice, so please do your own research before investing into any stock. Webull is going to give you up to 12 free stocks valued at up to $3,000. Here's the thing. If you want to start your portfolio, if you want to make some money, if you want to get some free money, here's what you need to do. Click the link in the description of this video. Open you up a Webull brokerage account. Deposit any amount of money into that brokerage account. Webull is going to give you up to 12 free stocks valued at up to $3,000. If you want some free money for your portfolio to jumpstart your wealth building journey, click the link in the description. Go do what you need to do to get that money. In this episode, we're going to be talking about the largest stock on the stock market, that is Apple. Okay, Apple just talked about how they released their iPhone 15, new Apple Watch, and AirPod devices. Personally, I believe that those devices left a lot to be desired from an innovation perspective. However, I still believe that the stock price will increase going into the end of the year, and I have some trades that I'm in and some potential trades that I'm trying to get into because I do believe that Apple and the stock market in general will have a good end of the year rally. So let's get right into it. Let's talk about Apple and what I feel about the company.
So there's one metric that I want us to pay attention to when we are looking at Apple, and that is earnings. Okay, we're talking about earnings per share. That's exactly what we're talking about when we're talking about this particular stock. Now, why do I believe that earnings will be higher going into the end of the year? The first reason is because when I was listening to the last earnings call, the CEO Tim Cook said that iPhone sales are expected to accelerate into Q3. So I believe that the iPhone sales are going to continue to accelerate, and they're going to continue to accelerate into the holiday quarter. Now, let's take a look at what happened from 2022 to 2023. Now, 2022 Q1, okay? Q1 is the holiday quarter. That's Q4. Apple sells most of their iPhones during Q4, that holiday quarter. Now, the Q4 sales are represented in Q1. Now, in 2022, we reported an EPS of $2.10 per share, right? That was very, very good, and everybody loved that particular EPS that was reported. Now in 2023, we only got $1.88 per share. So that's a year-over-year decrease from an EPS perspective. Now, the reason why that was because of what was going on in China with COVID lockdown and their Foxconn plants and things of that nature. Now we have $1.88 from last year. Now for the holiday quarter for this upcoming year, we're looking at $2.12. So we're talking about a greater than what we had last year, and also slightly greater than what we had in 2022. I believe that Apple is going to get back those sales that they lost, okay, because of what they said on the call about those iPhone sales continuing to reaccelerate. The one thing that we have to understand is that everybody is in a rolling iPhone upgrade cycle. Everybody is not going to upgrade their iPhone at one time. So for example, I have the iPhone 12. Now it's probably time for me to go ahead and upgrade to the iPhone 15. But somebody that has the iPhone 14, they're not going to automatically upgrade to the iPhone 15 unless they're one of the people that just get a new iPhone every single year. Apple is going to continue to sell these phones. They're going to continue to get better margins on them, and they're going to do better from an EPS perspective. Just watch. Just watch and just wait. Look, it's not about for them in order for them to make money. It's not about them rolling out a new product in order for them to make money. It's all about them continuing to understand what to do from a supply chain perspective, understand how to diversify themselves into India and other markets to be able to continue to grow those iPhone sales. So I'm telling you, iPhones will continue to sell. They will continue to outperform into the holiday quarter because it's going to be time for that upgrade cycle for a lot of people. It's a rolling upgrade cycle at the end of the day. And what these earnings tells me is that earnings are expected to do pretty well. And I believe that the stock price is going to appreciate in Q4 as a run up and as an anticipation in terms of what we're going to see from the earnings once we get over into 2024. Okay, so let's take a look at the trade for yourself portfolio. Now, when we look at the trade for yourself portfolio, currently I'm in an Apple call. I'm in an Apple, a June 2024 call, $180 strike. Currently, I'm down 14.81% on this particular call. Now, full disclosure, I should have sold this call probably in late August, early September. Probably that first trading day in September was probably when I should have sold this call. And if I would have sold it then, I could have repositioned it back down. But at the end of the day, I still believe that this is a quality call. Now, I do have some cash on the sidelines. And so I do plan on adding to this position because I do see Apple continuing to do well and outperform into the end of the year. But there's a lot of information that we need to get through over the next month and a half before I add to this position. Currently, I'm down 14.81%. If this position comes down 20%, and let's say Apple is still able to respect some key levels that I'm going to show to you next, I do still believe in this position because I believe that the stock market is going to outperform going into the end of the year. So let's go ahead and go into the chart and just remember that I have some cash on the side and I plan to add to this position right here. So don't fret, don't worry. If you have not gotten into this position yet, this may be an opportunity for you to find yourself a place to be able to. This may be a great opportunity for you to find yourself an entry point. Okay, so I wanted to go ahead and pull up the chart of Apple. Now, Apple started the year around $130.28, and the low that Apple hit was $124.17. Now, since it hit that low, the stock price has been going higher ever since. And so the stock price in July reached about $198.23. And what happened? The stock price fell off. But when the stock price fell off, the stock price did not fall off from a fundamental perspective. The stock price just sold off, right? It just sold off. The entire market sold off, and we got into some oversold levels in August. But the stock continued to push higher, but then it sold back down because of some news related to some iPhone bans in China. Now, I believe those iPhone bans in China are a non-factor in terms of what I believe earnings and revenue will do moving forward. Now, if we look at the stock price has not reached this high, and it came all the way back up to about $189.92, but it was not able to break 190, and it dropped back down, and now we're around $176.30. What I think will happen is that the stock price may continue to hover around this area, and it may drop to 170.42, or it could get as low as 167.04, depending on the things that we have going on. Remember that we're going to have CPI readings coming out, the Consumer Price Index measuring inflation, the PPI reading, the Producer Price Index measuring inflation, And we're going to have Jerome Powell speaking next week. Jerome Powell is going to be telling us what he expects interest rates will be and what he will be doing with the interest rates. That is going to affect the stock prices. And so the reason why I'm not adding to a position right now for the end of the year is because I'm waiting for all of this information to get flushed out. I'm waiting to see how the stock market is going to move. I'm waiting to see how everything is going to react. Then I'm going to get into my full position, because at that point, I know everything that I need to know. We are in a point to where this could be a great opportunity for you to add to Apple or for you to trade this stock going into the end of the year, because the stock market has had a great year. But typically when the stock market has a great year, it will pull back in September. It will pull back in August and September. That gives it that cooling off period, that slowing down period, to be able to continue to move higher throughout the end of the year. Watch for that. Watch for Apple to do well. Watch for Microsoft. Watch for all these technology companies to continue to do well going through the end of the year. Like I said, I'm going to be adding to this position. I'm looking at other stocks right now, maybe AMD and others that I may be adding as well. Pay attention to what is going on in the stock market, because some buying opportunities are out there for you to take advantage of.
Currently, we are in September, which is historically and statistically the worst month on the stock market, okay? What we need to understand is that we still have a lot of information that we need to get through. And I'm not adding to my position yet until we get through the inflation data, until we get through the Fed meeting and things of that nature. And we see how trading actually, continues to happen. And then I'm going to pick my spots to be able to get into these particular trades. Look, pay attention to the Trade for Yourself podcast. Stay tapped in, stay locked in with what I'm doing with Apple and other stocks that I may be getting into. There's going to be some opportunities for you to be able to make some money in your portfolio. As always, I appreciate you all for tapping into another episode of the Trade for Yourself podcast. Please like, please subscribe. Make sure you reach out to me in the comments and let me know how you feel about Apple stock. Let me know what you are going to be doing in your portfolio for the rest of this year. As always, remember, don't pay for it. Trade for it. I'm going to tap in with y'all on the next episode.